These garlic peppercorn beef tips get a good sear and a rich gravy, all made right in the same pan. All right, so the beef tips are garlic peppercorn, and they're from HEB. They're in their own marinade already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dry off the excess moisture. And so you want to make sure you don't want to take off the marinade or all the peppercorn you see there, but you do want to just again take off the excess moisture to better brown the meat. All right, y'all. So again, I'm just gonna dab on this, but and also cook it in batches so you don't overcrowd it. That's what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm probably gonna cook this in about 2 to 3 batches. I'll see what it looks like once I start cooking. I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of corn oil. Sometimes I like to use bacon grease, but that kind of competes with the flavor of the beef. So we're just gonna use some corn oil. It's got a high heat point. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, put that in there. All right, you don't want to move it for like the first 60 seconds. So I'll set a timer, and I'm moving it from high to medium high. I just keep it on high to get it nice and hot, and then that's when you can lower it down. All right, so it's been 60 seconds. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip one. Yeah, I don't want to overcook them. So like right there, you got that nice little brown color to it. And remember, y'all, whatever's left on the pan, that frond is what it's called, and that is just flavor, right? So we're going to use that later. So just going to go ahead and brown another side. All right, y'all. So I put on another timer for another 60 seconds. I don't want it to fully cook. I just want to sear like 2 or 3 of the sides and get some of that frond, some of those brown pieces sticking to the pan. Because what we're going to do later is make a gravy, an onion gravy, using some of this frond that's in here. All right, so we got that second one. A few of these, I'm just going to give them a sear on the sides that are still very red or pink. All right, you don't want it fully cooked because we're going to finish cooking it off in the gravy. But for now, I'm just going to start pulling these off. Again, cooking them in batches so that they don't steam, right? You want them seared, not steamed. I'm going to move this off the heat just briefly. And I just don't want it to burn all the frond on the pan, to burn. So I'm just going to take it off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and toss in some more of this beef. I'm going to add a little bit more oil, not too much. I'm going to start taking some of these off. And you don't want to overcook it, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull them out right here. I'm just going to put a little bit more corn oil because some of it, the meat isn't like very fatty, so it's not really making a lot of its own fat. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this last batch, and then I'll get back to you after that. All right, so I'm going to make an onion gravy. I'm going to be using this onion right here. So I'll just use 1 onion. This way. All right, so I left some of that frond in there, right? That's what you want because this is what's going to give your gravy flavor. And so that's very, very valuable stuff in here. So make sure you don't throw out the frond. It's such a good smell with the onions and the peppercorn and the garlic. I'm going to let the onions caramelize a little bit, get nice and tender and sweet. So I'll put some beef bouillon. It was 1.5 cups and 3 teaspoons of that beef bouillon. And this is what you call deglazing the pan. Basically put a liquid in here. You can put wine. I'm using this beef bouillon. And just scraping off all of those brown pieces, those frond pieces at the bottom. I'm going to put about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire. So the bouillon has salt. The marinade for the beef tips had salt. So this should be good. I'm going to turn it up slightly. I made a slurry mix. So a slurry is just either water with flour or cornstarch with water. And so mine is cornstarch with water. I use 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch to 1.5 tablespoons of water. So it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. All right, y'all. So I'm going to just go ahead and pour some of this cornstarch water mixture, and that's just to thicken up this gravy. So I'm not going to put it all. I'll see what that looks like. I mix it around. I'm going to go extra pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the slurry. It's not thickening up too much. It will thicken up though as it goes, and then when it cools down, it'll thicken up a little bit more. So make sure to separate the onions just so if any cornstarch or the slurry mix got in there, you're evenly distributing it around. And remember, y'all, it will thicken up. So I think I'm going to leave it here for now. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of the, or pour the beef back into that. Make sure you get all the juices that came out. I'm going to turn the heat up just slightly. So it's just a little bit past medium. And I'm going to go ahead and cook this for like about another 4 minutes and just kind of finish off the beef. Make sure the beef gets fully cooked. All right, so I'm about to turn off the heat right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and put about a tablespoon. That's probably like a tablespoon and a half of butter. And just to smoothen out the gravy. And so I've been saying fond this whole time. It's actually fond. I always get those two confused. So you can see the butter is melting nicely. I'm going to serve this up with mashed potatoes and some steamed mixed veggies. So this goes perfect with mashed potatoes because you can just pour this gravy onto the potatoes. All right, and that is the beef tips and mashed potato and an onion gravy. Let's put some mixed veggies on the side with a roll.